coming in at the moment. So I would just like to get a little bit of ideas that if any one of you here that you have already submitted an applications, can you put a yes in the chat box? And if you have not submitted an applications, then you don't have to do anything. So this will then help me, to find out that what are the things that I should cover today, or whether it's important for me to cover like when will be the start date and all those. So if you have already submitted an application for this coming September intake, please put a yes in the chat box or click on the reaction button there. I'm not sure whether you have that accessibility, but if you can do so, then please do so. So while waiting for that, I will try to share my screen now. Okay, all right. Okay, so right. Basically what I will be covering today, it's I would say general information about the university. So and a very general information on how the campus like. So normally what would be the intake, and what about like the entry requirement, depending on what are the qualifications that you're currently studying or you have already completed. And of course, a little bit of information about the scholarships that we'll be offering this coming September. Okay. So first of all, what you can see here, these are some of the quick facts about the universities, I would say. I would say we travel to Myanmar, comparing the other universities, I would say quite early. So you may have already heard of Sheffield, or you may not. But yeah, so these are some of the things I would say that most of the peoples will look at, and when you consider on. Sorry, if you join the session, can you please mute yourself because I can hear your side. Yeah, thank you. Right, okay. So you can see that the most recent research excellence framework that actually put us 92% of our research class as world leading or internationally excellent. So normally why this is important is that most of the lecturers, those that you're actually in your classes where they taught your classes, the modules, your research. So a lot of them are currently doing research as well. So that's some things that I would say is the things that they are doing is the most updated one in the market, so that in the futures when you finish your studies and then you look for jobs, so that's going to be some things that most up to date, and especially for example the facilities as well that you're going to be using in those industry. And you can see is that the universities is currently placed 13 in the UK, and this is according to the Times Higher Education World Universities ranking. So we are one of the 24 universities that make up the Russell Group of research-led universities with a global reputations. And we're also among the top 50 most international universities. So we currently have around, I would say, 35,000 students on campus. And so they're all coming from 150 different countries. So and in the most recent High Flyer research, so you can see that the university's strong reputations with employer resulted as being named one of the top 12 most targeted UK universities by top employers. So yeah, and I'll be mentioning a few times about our student unions. So you can see that we're top for student unions, clubs and societies, and also teaching qualities, and this is according to Student Crowd. And what you can see here, so I think just last week, so we are the winner, which is the Universities of the Year. So this is according to What Uni Student Awards 2024. At the same time as well, we actually received a total of 3 awards, which is we won Best Student Union for the 7 years running, and we also won the awards for Best Student Life as well. So we're also shortlisted in the facilities, student supports, and also international categories as well. And you can see that these awards actually receive more than 39,000 students review from across the nations and contribute to these awards. So this is where I would say that let's make Sheffield the start of something special. So when you study here, you get one of the best students experience in the UK. So normally I would say for majority of the international students, so when they actually come to us, so of course we offer quite a numbers of different subjects areas, but these are the popular ones I would say. And of course there's still a lot more courses rather than the list here, so you should check on our websites on what are study subjects area that you would like to learn. And what you will be able to find here that this is actually one of the main thing that I would say most of the students would ask, especially international students, it's what about accommodations? So I would say we are very lucky where we are still able to guarantee your accommodations. So when you actually come and study with us, as long as you apply the accommodations before the deadline. So it depends on when you're actually applying for the course, when you actually receive an offer. So, but the deadline that can guarantee you accommodations, it could fall at the end of July or at the end of August, and you only start your courses in September. So you don't have to actually worry that if you study with us and you can't find a place. So at the left-hand side, you can see a rough ideas of how it's going to cost you if you study and stay on campus universities accommodations. So the rental there actually covers your bills, electricities, and also Wi-Fi. Okay, so the rest of the expenses that you will have to cover is actually your food, I would say. That would be the most part of it. So let's have a look at why Sheffield as a city. Okay. So where is Sheffield located? You can see that we are actually in the middle of England. So we normally ask our international students to fly to Manchester Airport because we will have a pickup service, which we will normally pick you up from Manchester Airport and then send you to Sheffield. Of course, I think for this year, we're going to have the pickup service start from 14th until 24th of September. So if you arrive within those dates, of course, that will be perfect. But if you arrive outside of those dates, then you're not able to take the pickup service, right? So maybe you'll be worried that, oh, you know, how I get to Sheffield. So don't worry, because as long as you actually fly to the Manchester Airport, the train station is just next to the Manchester Airport. And you can actually walk together with your luggages from Manchester Airport to the train stations. So it's all shaded. It's very convenient for you to walk together with your luggages, so you don't have to worry about that. And then you get a train ticket, and then you can come to Sheffield train stations. And they're just going to take you about 1 hour and 10 or 15 minutes. And then from the Sheffield stations, you can then get a Uber taxi and then get to your student accommodation. That's just going to cost you less than £10 for the journey. So the reason why that we normally wouldn't recommend you to fly to London unless you're taking a connecting flight from London to Manchester. Otherwise, if you're planning on taking a train from London, then that's not very convenient unless you have someone's or your friends and families are there to help you out with the, changing of the train. Okay. So, I would say the most important point here, is that we are actually the third most affordable UK cities which is why that put us one of the we one of the very popular options for international students because of the living expenses. So being able to guarantee accommodations, that's already one thing, so that your rental is not going to be too expensive, because within the city itself there's a lot of provider, not just the universities. They also have a lot of private providers that they only rent out the place to students. So which is why that there's a lot of choices for you to go for. And because of that as well, you're not going to, pay a very, very high rent and then, rent a very place which is like lower than average. So that's not the case in Sheffield. And because of the internationals, that I mentioned, that we have like, international students coming from like 150 different countries, right? So a lot of options are available as well. So for example, in terms of the food, in terms of the cafes and all those, so it's all within walking distance from your accommodations and also from your class as well. So the things that are more affordable, I would say. And you can see that 10% of the populations in the cities, they're actually students, because we have Sheffield and also Sheffield Hallam universities, which is we're just right opposite each other. So these are just some of the photos so that you know how it actually looks like. But yeah, these are just photos. So we have like the 360 views where you can view the place and you can view your accommodations as well. So do check out on those. So we are a very green cities, and if you love outdoor activities, so we have the National Peak District, which is just about 20 minutes away. So it's a place I would say our students go during the weekend for either a walk or a hiking, or if you would like to learn, for example, like rock climbing. So there's a lot of activities that you can go for. And yeah, these are also around the campus as well. So we have a few gardens around the campus. So, after your classes or before you go back to your room, so maybe you want to, take a stroll, relax your mind before you continue your works again. Somehow it hangs. Hold on a second. Okay. All right. So next I'm going to be talking about how's your tuition fees like for a year if you actually study with us for example undergraduate degree. So for courses like business, for courses like law, urban studies, except for architecture, you can see social science. So majority of the tuition fees are around, I would say, £23,000 to £26,000, except for architecture. So architecture, it's around £27,000. And if you are going for science and engineering, so you can see that the tuition fees is about £29,000. So that includes like psychologies, all the engineering, biomedical science. So those are £29,000 per year. And for medicines and dentistry, so they're more expensive and they're 5 years program. So for medicines at the moment, I think is £45,000, and dentistry, I think is about £48,000 per year. Okay, so and it's very important that you ask the universities that you're considering, because some universities will increase their fees every year. So for us, by the year that you join us, and because you're going to study for like 3 or 4 years for your undergraduate degree, so your fees will be then fixed for the whole durations. So for example, if you're joining us engineering this coming September, so the fees is £29,000. And you actually apply for a 4 years master's engineering, and that's going to be £29,000 for the whole 4 years. And by each year, what I mean is the fees will be the same every year. And this is also important maybe for you and also your parents as well. So they probably asked you that, okay, so apart from your tuition fees, what are the rest of the things that, they will have to prepare? So because you have to apply for a student visas, and the UK government, they actually calculates your living costs if you study outside of London. So it's about £1,023 per month. Okay, so it has been many years, I would say, that UK government, they haven't actually increased this amount, even though, the inflations and all the stuff. So it's still, they stay at 1,023 pounds. So this is based on the calculations of that. So let's say that if you actually choose to stay at the university's accommodations, so 80% of the university's accommodations is single room, and you have your own bathroom. So you just have to actually share the kitchens. So this 750 pounds per month. So these estimations is actually based on a single room and you have your own bathroom. And we also calculate your food as well. So for example, if you actually cook on your own, okay, I would say 50 pounds per week, that would be sufficient if you cook on your own. And then for transportations and others, because majority of your accommodations and your classes, they're all within walking distance, like 10 to 15 minutes walking distance. So you don't really need to pay buses or anything, every day just to get to your classes. So that 58 pounds is somehow, I would say, additional or extra calculations. And sometimes like during the weekend, you want to go to somewhere else. And then for a mobile phone credit, so because your accommodations comes with Wi-Fi, all the university's building also comes with Wi-Fi as well. So for mobile phone credits, I would say at the moment, if you get like 8 or 10 pounds a month credits, that will actually get you at least, I would say the 5G data, quite a lot. You can actually just check online. So you don't really need to get something more than 15 pounds a month. So that comes to the 1,000 pounds roughly a month that you would need. So remember that that's for your accommodations and food. So that's what you need per month on top of your tuition fees. Okay, and another thing that I will also have to mention is that for accommodations, because normally you study from September until June, so that's about 9 months. So that is the 42 weeks contract length. And if you're going to actually study for postgraduates for master's degree, is normally a year. So that's about 51 weeks, unless you're very sure that for the 3-month summer break, you don't want to come back and you want to actually work during your summer break. Yes, you can do that. So you can actually opt for the 51 weeks contract as well. Okay. And another thing that I would say a lot of students, they forget to add in, which is the visa applications fee and also the insurance health surcharge. So this is the insurance where you will have to pay at the point of the visa applications. So when you actually pay for your visa applications online, they will also calculate the whole durations of your studies in the UK, because they want to calculate how much you have to pay for the health insurance. So at the moment, it's 776 pounds per year. Okay, but remember this is in pound, but when you actually pay online from the website, it's in USD. So they'll convert that for you. There may be a little bit of currency differences, but this is something that you have to calculate in advance. But this will be all the expenses that you need. So these maps here is actually aimed to show you that if you look at all the the brown color column, so those are these are all the university's building. So the brown color column is actually the cafeterias within the university's building. So that's just to actually shows you that it's very easy, and it's walking distance to get all the like during your lunchtime or your breakfast, or you just want to grab some things. So these are all this is the university's map. So if you look at the roundabout area, so roundabout area, just right in front of the roundabout, there's a building which is called Information Common. So that is our 24 hours library. So the library open 24 hours. And if you're going to study science and engineering, I would say majority of our classes will be around the right-hand side of the roundabout. And the closest accommodations that you would like to stay closest to your classes and the closest to city center, which is on the right hand side. So you can see these two gray color buildings with the blue column here. So this is actually university's accommodations. And the green column here, Broadland Court, this is also university's accommodations. So you're literally staying next to those buildings that you can see. And then left-hand side, like we have our Western Park. We also have Sport Sheffield. If you're into sports, we have at least 60 different sports societies. And then to the left-hand side here, we have management school. or information schools if you're going to study business, and also data science. So it's on the left-hand side. So we have another 2 accommodations on the left-hand side here. So that's also student accommodations that you can actually stay. So the important dates, okay. So remember just now that I asked about whether you have already submitted your applications, and I think that none actually say yes. So I'll assume that you haven't actually submit for your applications. And if you are looking to apply for undergraduate degree, and you can see that we're currently in May, right? So you can still submit an applications, but remember, if you are joining this coming September, please make sure that you submit an applications no later than 30th June. If you submit no later than 30th June, at least you still get to put in 5 university choice. But if you submit after 30th June, or even later like July, so most likely that you can only put in 1 choice, and you have to check with the universities if they still have places, and you can only put in 1 choice if you have not done so. So you really need to, act fast. Unless if you're talking about you would like to apply for 2025, then that's a different case. So I'll go back to the slide. If you're going to apply for 2025, if you're planning on applying to Oxbridge as well, I would say, then you should submit your applications by October this year. Okay. Otherwise, if you're not planning on applying medicine, dentistry, then you need to know that you can submit your applications by January 2025. The exact date, you just have to check on the UCAS again. Okay. But normally, so for those that who are currently holding an offer, and if they apply before 31st January, so they will already have to make the decisions by 6th June. Make a decision means that they put in 5 university choice, for example. So they already received all the decisions, whether they got offer, got rejected. Then they have to choose what is the which universities that they would like to go for. So like a firm choice and insurance choice. But don't worry about this. Get in touch with your counselors. They will be able to advise you on that and how to check on that. But make sure that you put a reminder for yourself, because so that you don't miss the deadline. So again, this is about the course start dates. So what I would like you to have a look here is that normally for us, the first day of the class is at the end of the September. So you can see here that this year, Monday, first day of the class is on the 30th of September. So that is your first semesters, which is autumn term. And then you study until 8 February. So your second semester start 10 February until 14 June. So this is like the 2 semesters that you are going to study if you're going to study undergraduate degree. Okay. So normally we will ask you to go over to the UK during the orientation week. So you can see that this is at least about 2 weeks before your first day of the class. So orientation is Monday to Friday, so it's optional. You don't have to go every day. You can just join some of the activities when they actually advertise, those everyday what kind of activities that they're going to having. And just now I mentioned about airport picked up. Okay, so you can see that this is the airport pickup date this year from Manchester Airport 14 to 24. They have 2 timing normally to pick the students. So I think they have 11 in the morning, and also I think another one in the afternoon. If I didn't remember wrongly, it's 3 p.m. So you just have to arrange your flight time and then allow some time to clear the immigrations. So that would be the timing that you book for. The booking starts in July. And if you book to stay university's accommodations, the contract start on the 22nd of September, which is, you can see, the weekend after the orientation week, because orientation week is optional. Okay. And intro week, so this is compulsory. So this is for you to complete all the registration things, like to collect your card, to register yourself with the university health services, so that you want to see the GP, if you feel sick, then it's all registered, so you can just go and make an appointment. And then attend all the welcome events, fairs, meet your mentor, meet your departments, and also meet your course mates as well for this week. So these are the important things that you have to do during the intro week, I would say. And for postgraduate students, so there's a lot more timeline. So again, I'm not going to go through this each one by one, but I have included the link on top of the page here. If you are planning on applying for postgraduates and you would like to know how's the timeline like, so you can actually save the link on top of the page here. Okay, so for all the undergraduate degree courses, if you're planning on applying, so you can only apply to us via UCAS. So this is the online platform where you can apply to all the undergraduate degree in the UK, and you can only put in a maximum 5 university choice. Your counselors will help you with that on how to put, so you just have to decide. And then ask them and tell them that you want to apply, and then they'll be able to let you know what are the things that you have to prepare, such as your reference and also a personal statement. And because I'm not very sure on in terms of what's your academic background, so this is just a very general guidelines for you, and it may also depends on what courses that you are planning on applying. So for example, that currently our computer science, our mechanical engineering, so our A-levels entry requirements is A-star AA. So computer science, they will look at your A-level mathematics, and for mechanical engineering, they look at your maths and also another science subjects as well. So you have to check on the particular undergrad degree that you want to apply for, and then either come back to this screen or you check on the link that I stated there. So if you're coming from OSSD background, so I put down equivalence of the grades here. For example, A-levels AAA, so that's equivalence to 85% in 6 of your subjects, which normally the 6 subjects that we need to look at is 12 U or M courses. And it also depends on whether those courses that you're planning on apply, whether they require A-level maths. If they require A-level maths, then they will need you to take a few subjects as well. So for that, if you're not very sure, so take down my contact details later on, or you can also check with your counselor. Okay, and this is for those that who plans on apply to us using let's say that you have already done a master's degree in Myanmar, for example, or you have actually done, I would say, at least a 5 to 6 years bachelor degree. So that's normally, I think, architectures or engineering degree from recognized Myanmar universities. So this will be the grade equivalence that we'll be looking at. So UK 2-1, so this is normally where you will see on the UK university's website. And then our equivalence is GPA 4.5 out of 5. Then you can actually apply for direct entry to our masters. Otherwise, if you don't meet this, then you will have to go for a pre-masters. So pre-masters can be 6 months or 9 months. And in terms of English requirements, so for those of you that who have actually done IGCSE, so you can see that we're actually accepting your IGCSE English. If you have the grades here or the syllabus here correct and you meet those grade there, we'll be able to accept this and waive your IELTS requirement. So if you don't have any of these here, then you will have to take IELTS. Okay. And for those that who would like, I would say that if let's say that you have taken IELTS, but you didn't quite meet the requirement, and you would like to actually study the pre-sessional English. So we have the in-person pre-sessional English, but your IELTS, it has to be a UKVI one. You can see that the next one is actually 10 weeks. So 10 weeks start on 1st of July. And for this, the application deadline is at least 1 month before. So they will close soon. So for those that who are actually looking for this, so this actually means that you are currently holding an offer for this coming September's already, but you didn't meet the IELTS requirements. And then you want to study a pre-sessional English first. So by the time that you finish your pre-sessional English, and then you will continue for your bachelor's degree. So at the end of the course here, you don't have to take another IELTS. So you just have to do this assessment stated there. You will have extended writing, you have a presentations, you also have seminar interview as well. And let's say you have taken IELTS, but it is not UKVI. So let's say you have done IELTS academic, okay? So, and you don't want to retake another IELTS, so you can actually do full-time online. So this full-time online, you can actually study in Myanmar. So by the time that you finish the 6 week or the 10 weeks, then you can apply for the visas to continue your bachelor's degree or master's. And this is actually for those that who have just done IGCSE or you have done matriculations. So let's say that you don't have A levels or SSD, then you can actually join our foundations program and then progress to our bachelor's degree, or you can do the pre-masters and progress to our masters if let's say that you have completed a bachelor degree in Myanmar. Okay, so again, that depends. Certain courses that you can actually do foundations, but not all courses that you can do foundations. For example, computer science, data science, and also medicines. So those are the courses that you can't do foundations to progress to. And if you're not very sure, do check with us. Don't worry. And take down the link here, which is www.sheffield.ac.uk/study/charge. So you can see from the screen here, we currently have 2 Myanmar ambassador where you'll be able to chat online with them. So one of them is doing biomedical science and the other one is doing computer science. So you can actually ask them anything that you would like to know about the universities, about the accommodations, about their life there. So these are the way that you can actually get in touch with the current students. Or if you're looking for students from a specific study area, so you can actually change the filter to look for the course subjects that you would like to look for. And during your studies, if let's say that you are actually worried about your English, because English is normally not our first language, and you can see that the universities actually offer quite a number of things, and these are all free of charge, which is, you know, as international students, you have already paid for all these services. So make use of them. So one of the very popular kind of supports that we have, I would say, is the online writing advisory service. So some of the home students, the UK students, they also use these services as well. So you can see that you can actually submit a writing for a tutor to comment on and return it to you before you actually submit your work to your lecturer, for example. So that's more on the writing part. And if you like to improve your speakings or presentation, so you can see that we have all these sessions that you can join. So these sessions are optional. So you don't really have to actually you know, worried that, oh, you know, if you join, then you're going to join the whole semesters or the whole year. No, it's not the case. And you can arrange your timetable to fit in as well. So that's some things where and there's no commitment like examinations. So again, that doesn't give you extra stress, you know, when you have to face with all the studies already. So if you're into some of the live sessions that are organized by our colleagues based on campus, you can see that these are the next sessions, and it's actually nearly every Wednesdays that we have live sessions, and you can actually join online from your room. I think the most recent one last week, it was about a live campus tour. So, but I think they are going to have another one after June. So do check out if you're into like a virtual tour, so you can join those. And or if you think that you might have some of the network issues while you join those sessions, so this is our university's YouTube web pages, and you can check on these videos from our students. And the scholarships, okay. So this is the scholarship information for this coming September. So the merit scholarships, what you can see here is that for undergraduate merit scholarships, so this scholarship is already closed because the deadline is 22nd of April. And then for those that who are currently holding an offer for masters, you can see that the deadline is on the 13th of May. So that means that you must hold an offer to be able to apply for these awards. And otherwise, let's say is that you miss these merit scholarships, but you manage to actually secure an offers and then you accept the offer before the deadline. For undergraduate, it's 6 June. For masters is 14 June. as long as you accept the offer before that, you're getting the automatic scholarships. So undergrad degree, because you're going to study 3 years or 4 years, if you got it for the first year, you maintain your grades average 60% B, you're getting the same amount of scholarships every year. Okay. And this is specifically for students looking for engineering courses. So that's for the undergraduate degree. If you're joining engineering programs and your A-levels result, you have the results such as A star, AA, or maximum 3 A star, you're getting a maximum of £3,000 of cash bursary for the first year of your studies. So you don't have to apply for this. So as long as you actually firm the offer, then you'll be able to get this when you actually go over to Sheffield. So you may be able to get the automatic scholarship that I said just now, 2,000 or 2,500 pounds. And on top of that, you're getting these cash bursaries. You can use it towards your living expense. So that's totally fine. And if you are holding a computer science offers, so they give a total of £2,000. And then for the following years, if you maintain 70% average, you're getting £1,000 every year. And this is specifically for MBA. So for those of the students who are looking to do MBA, we are currently at the final stage that you can see on top of there. So stage E. So for those who submitted applications until the 21st of June, so you have to check out our university's website because you don't need to put in an additional application for this, but it depends on your personal statement. So they put down a few criteria there. So you should check before you write your personal statement if you are planning on applying for MBA. Okay. And that's all for today. This is my email address and also my WhatsApp number. So feel free to note them down. If you are too shy to ask me directly, you can also ask your counselors as well, and they'll be able to pass your questions to me. So I'll stop sharing my screen now.
Your presentation is really, really perfect, and you are talking about a lot of information for Myanmar student. Thank you for your information.
No problem.
And then we are going to the question and answer session. မေးစရာမေးခွန်းလေးရှိရင်အောက်ကချက်ပေါက်ထဲမှာလည်းရေးပြီးတော့မေးလို့ရလို့ mute ဖွင့်ပြီးတော့လည်းမေးလို့ရပါเนาะ Here for 3 questions for you.
Yeah.
What about for postgraduate requirement to attend if we pass 4-year bachelor program?
Right. So if the 4 years bachelor's program study in Myanmar and you got awarded by a Myanmar universities, then you will have to actually do a pre-masters. So pre-masters, we have 3 intake in a year. The next one actually starts this coming September. We also have another intake which is in January and another one in March. So that would depends on what master's program that you would like to go for. Then they will let you know which pre-master's program that you should join. So they will look at your bachelor's degree and then your grade as well. So that's for the pre-masters. When you finish your pre-masters, then only you will join the master's program because the master's program is only 1 year. Okay.
So there is another question.
Yeah.
Do you accept GED?
For GED, we look at that as equivalence to IGCSE. So we don't normally accept GED for a direct entry to the universities. So for those who take GED, if let's say that they taken, I would say SAT, so they may be able to join our foundations program, but that will be on a case-to-case basis because they will have to look at what subjects they've taken, what's the score, so which bachelor's degree that they want to join. So those are things that they'll be looking as well. And I think the last questions is about the English test, which is Duolingo. We don't accept Duolingo as, to meet the English requirements. So we only accept English tests, for example, like IELTS, Pearson, TOEFL. So there's a long list for that. I will send you a link on that.
နောက်ထပ်မေးချင်တဲ့မေးခွန်းလေးများရှိသေးလားမသိဘူးเนาะနောက်ထပ်မေးချင်တဲ့မေးခွန်းလေးရှိရင် comment မှာလည်းရေးလို့ရလို့ဒီမြို့ဖွင့်ပြီးတော့လည်းမေးလို့ရပါတယ်ဟုတ်
I think Xiaomi raised up the hand. I'm not sure if yeah.
Yes, I raised. Thank you so much for Jasmine for your sharing.
No
And
problem.
really want to know about for the pre-master registration course. If
Okay.
we hold the bachelor degree program, that's a 4-year degree program.
Yeah.
And if let's say we have the many gap years, like 8 years, so can we apply for pre-master program?
You mean like in between of your bachelor, you have quite a long
Correct. Yeah.
like gap
correct.
years, right? Okay.
Yes.
So if that's the case, then what I would suggest you is that you will have to actually contact my colleague, which is directly from the college. Then they will be able to access your case because they will have to send for assessment. It will be considered on case by case, and then they will be able to let you know whether the course director will be able to accept you. So of course you have to work out if you already know what course that you would like to study. For example, your master's, then you let them know which course, and then they'll be able to let you know that whether they can accept that. So I will share my screen for contact details. You'll be able to find the email address and also a WhatsApp number. So you can try and get in touch with my colleague here. So she's normally the persons that I go for.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Please
Okay.
share. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can see here there's a IR code for her WhatsApp. So her name is Iona. So her email address is ionachew at studygroup.com. And you can see her email mobile. So she's based in Singapore.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. I will make a contact. Thank
No
you.
problem.
So there is another question.
Yeah.
Do we have to answer 𝐰𝐢𝐿TS UKPI for foundation program as well?
Yes, for foundation and pre-masters, because your visa will be sponsored by the college, and it's a visa requirements that you must go for IELTS UKBI. So that's a very good question. Yes.
ဟုတ်နောက်ထပ်သိချင်တဲ့မေးခွန်းလေးရှိရင် comment မှာရေးပြီးတော့မေးလို့ရလို့မြို့ဖွင့်ပြီးတော့လည်းမေးလို့ရပါတယ်เนาะမေးခွန်းလေးများရှိသေးလားမသိဘူးကျွန်တော်တို့နောက်ထပ်မေးခွန်းလေးထပ်ပြီးတော့လက်ခံပေးမှုရှိပါသေးတယ်ဟုတ်မေးချင်တာလေးရှိသေးလားမသိဘူး ကျွန်တော်တို့နောက်ထပ်မေးခွန်းလေးလက်ခံပေးမှုရှိပါသေးတယ်မေးစရာမေးခွန်းလေးများရှိသေးလားမသိဘူးเนาะ There is one question.
Okay. How many
Suppose maybe-
people in the class? This is a very difficult question to ask. Difficult question for me to answer because it depends on the courses that you are going for. So, if you're going for like science and engineering, normally definitely at least more than hundreds. Or business, it can be if you're talking about undergrad degree. So, hundreds or 200 students in a class, but because the teaching style in the UK is that if you are attending lectures normally you attend a big lecture theatre hall, so a lot of students going together. But if you're attending seminar, so you're not attending seminars in hundreds people, so they will actually put you in a smaller class, for example like 20 maximums in a seminar. And especially if you are working on like lab works, so again they will break you up in some of the smaller group, I would say. So it really depends on what subjects areas, but majority of the teaching style, not just the Sheffield, I would say across the UK universities. So normally you will have like your lecture, and then you have seminar, smaller class because they are more on discussions, and then you will have like your tutorial as well. So those are much more in a smaller group of studies. Teaching style or classroom facilities. Okay, so if you talk about the teaching style, I won't be able to show you. But if you actually have a look on, I would say, some of the recording from the universities. So I would say lecture, they normally they have a big slides in front of the screens, and then they'll just go through the slides with you. And then, but if you talk about classroom facilities, so I would say it's not much of the difference, it's just the size. But the main thing is that in the UK, if as long as you have classes like this, it's all being recorded. So you don't have to actually record yourself. It's already being recorded, and as a student, you'll be able to actually access those recording sessions from your so-called online blackboard. So I would say it's quite convenient if you like to refer back, some of the things that teach in a class and then you forgot, you want to refer back. So those are all being recorded. Yeah, you can refer back anytime. Any other questions?
Yes.
You're welcome.
There is one more question. Do you accept credit transfer if student complete second year in Myanmar as UK recognized course?
Sorry, can you repeat again? Credit transfer for?
Do you accept credit transfer if student complete second year in Myanmar as UK recognized course?
Which course? Because not all courses accepting year 2. And for year 2 and 3, they will be looking on a case to case, because they will then look at your first year and your second year study in Myanmar. So what you actually covered, they will then look at. But I would say normally if you actually complete a 2 years in Myanmar, they will be able to look at for year 1 rather than the second year entry.
နောက်ထပ်မေးချင်တဲ့မေးခွန်းလေးများရှိသေးလားမသိတော့နောက်ထပ်မေးခွန်းတစ်ခုတော့ travel လက်ခံပေးပါမယ်ဟုတ်
Hello, I have one more questions. Yeah. Because I missed about the accommodation part during the sharing session. So how do you arrange for the accommodation for the students?
Okay. I think just now you were asking about pre-master, right? Okay.
Yes, correct.
Right. So for pre-masters, the arrangements is that after you got an offers, then they will then ask you if you want to stay on campus. So the whole durations of the pre-masters, I would say, is we normally guarantee your accommodations. So when you finish, or going to finish your pre-masters, so you can then have the options that, because you're already familiar with the places, so you can either look for the private accommodations on your own, or you can also apply to the university's one, but they're all within walking distance, so it's not very further away. So if you actually study at the pre-master, so it's actually the Sheffield International College, and then they will arrange the accommodations for you. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
So your presentation is really, really perfect, and the information is so complete for Myanmar student. So before the webinar end, please let me hear your final speech for Myanmar student.
Right. Okay, so again, thank you very much for your time here today. So I know this is a very difficult time, but I work closely with the counselors here. So if let's say that if you have any questions that you are not very sure, and you need someone to really guide you on the process. So do always get in touch with the counselors, or if you note down my contacts already, you can also get in touch with me. So I actually currently based in Malaysia, so we have different team members based in different places. So we'll be able to guide you on what to do next. Even for those that who currently hold an offers and they're not very sure on what's the next steps to take, so we are also here to actually guide you as well. And of course, you can see that we have a lot of live sessions offered as well. And this is, I would say, mainly, it helps international students. Everybody is across the world. So those are mainly helping international students. So you don't really have to worry that, you're not going to get the supports that you need. So just reach out to us.
Thank you for your lovely speech.
No.
And if we have time, we will meet again in a webinar or our education fair or something.
Yes, sure. Thank you. Thank you very much for having me today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Goodbye.
Bye.